Question number 3, the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he stand by his statement regarding migration to Australia? What's the point of standing in the airport crying about it? If so, how many of the 53,763 people that migrated to Australia in the year to June 2012 are from 18 to 30 years of age in number and percentage terms?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, yes, and as I said in the rest of that statement, we've just got to compete. New Zealand should show the aspiration and confidence that it can compete with a larger, more wealthy economy for our young people's talent, instead of just worrying about it. 21,585 people aged 18 to 30 migrated to Australia in the year to June 2012, about 40% of the total. I note that in the 9 years to June 2008, when economic conditions were more benign, 305,800 New Zealanders left for Australia, and around 36% of them were aged 18 to 30.
The Honourable David Parker.
Does he agree with the findings of the New Zealand Herald Mood of the Boardroom survey, which found out of 8 critical issues his government has performed worse on stemming the outward flow of Kiwis?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, no, and as I suggested to the large group of business leaders in the room, it's up to them to compete for that talent by showing the leadership and the opportunities to our young New Zealanders. If they're waiting around for someone else to do that on their behalf, then they can rely on this government to create positive conditions, but it is in the workplaces of New Zealand that young people will see the opportunities that attract them. And it's time we showed the confidence that we can compete with Australia.
The Honourable David Parker.
Does he think it is sustainable to lose 21,000 people per annum to Australia, the equivalent of the entire student body of Otago or Victoria universities?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think that is going to continue, because the relative economic performance of New Zealand and Australia is closing and is starting to close the gap. And if we persist with the government's broad-based economic program to create jobs and opportunities and fix problems like housing affordability, then we will be able to compete with Australia for our young talent. And that's better than telling our young people that the government is going to waste more of their money, borrow more, and not support the businesses who provide their jobs, which is Labor's policy.
The Honourable David
Supplementary.
Parker.
When he said yesterday that migration rates are correlated to growth rates, does the fact that New Zealand experienced the highest number ever of people to migrate to Australia in a 12-month period signify that he has failed in his goal of growing the New Zealand economy and instead growing the Australian economy by sending 20,000 young New Zealanders there a year?
The Honourable Bill English.
No, Mr. Speaker. What it signifies is that Australia have had a once-in-a-100-year increase in its income because of their coal and iron ore boom. That gave them higher growth rates for a short time than New Zealand, and we would expect that as our own program starts to have a positive impact on the New Zealand economy, those flows will change.
The Honourable David Parker.
Given that young people are leaving in droves to Australia, what plans does he have to ensure the long-term sustainability of superannuation, given the changing age profile, particularly in light of the fact that 88% of the CEOs in the Mood of the Boardroom survey said that National's completely on the wrong side and out to lunch on the issue of raising the age of eligibility to superannuation?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the most important thing for national superannuation is a thriving economy. If we don't have a thriving economy, then in the future superannuitants won't have adequate superannuation. And that is why we are focusing on encouraging businesses to invest and employ. We're focusing on using our natural resources through oil and gas exploration and mining, on supporting our primary industries so they can be more competitive on the global stage, all of which are policies that the opposition oppose.
Question number 4, Matiria Ture.